guys, it's 21 Maxwell here and welcome to episode 76 now of the Glasgow Rangers save. This video is coming to you just at the end of the transfer window for a lot of ins, a lot of outs, as we try and restructure the squad to make sure we're in good a position as possible when we take on Man City in this last 16 tie in the Champions League. So last time you joined us was the middle of December actually when we played Celtic, so I will go through the fixtures first anyway since a lot has changed. A lot of matches have been played, and you can see we've got a nice wee 13-point gap in the table. So he joined us, as I say, for that Celtic game. Nice 3-1 victory there, great goals in that match. We then had a home tie against St Mirren, and a nice 3-0 victory over the Paisley side. Gabriel Barbosa on the score sheet with 2, and Sean Kelly made it 3 with an own goal. They did hold us out to half time, but brought a bit of quality on, and in the end, a great result for the lads. Continuing on with another win at Kilmarnock, João Borges opened the score sheet. Eugene Caracherde got sent off, but in the end, again, super sub Barbosa with a penalty and Ryan Jack scoring to give us an impressive 3-0 win. Why not win 3-0 again? This is what we've done against Dunfermline. Izzy Brown in the score sheet, and then Ryan Jack and Kingsley Coman making it a comfortable victory, and another 3 points. Turn of the year on New Year's Day. Another clean sheet, a 4-0 victory against Hearts. Arsov with the opening goal. Kingsley Coman getting on the score sheet again with a double before Sisto making it 4-0 before half time, and we just kind of seen this game out and took a victory. Next up was a trip to St Johnstone, which was 2 weeks later, so a nice little bit of rest time for the players. Took us a little bit of time to get into the game, but Ryan Jack and Florian Thauvin with the goals to give us a 2-0 win, 3 points. Just another good performance, and then a trip to Alloa resulted in a fantastic 5-0 win. They did lose their discipline a little bit with Ross Taylor and Ryan McAllister being sent off, but Barbosa with a hat-trick, Malcolm getting on the score sheet for the first time in a while, and Fiona Sisto making it 5. Disappointing then against Dundee United though. Fiona Sisto did open the score sheet, scoring on the score sheet before Scott Laird, the former Preston defender, scored a penalty. We brought in Gold, we brought in Malcolm, we brought in Coleman, but we just could not break them down. So that was a point lost, or 2 points lost, 1 point gained here. But you're not going to win them all, and that was pretty decent. And then the last game, 2-0 win against Partick Thistle, Ryan Jack scoring, Ryan Gold coming off the bench to score a penalty kick. And that gave us what seems to be about 6 or 7 clean sheets in 7 or 8 games, so fairly delighted with that. And as I say, it's given us a good lead in the Premier League table. As I say, we'll be playing the Aberdeen game as a live game on this video, and then after this we've got these important games against Man City. Quick overview of the table, as I say, 13 points clear ahead of Celtic. They started to kind of lose a couple of games, the consistency hasn't been great, and hopefully if we can keep this up we should be looking at our 6th title in a row. So of course, with it being January, there's ins and there's outs, and there was quite a few. So the ins, I always said we needed to improve the spine of the team. I thought attacking wise we're fantastic, defensively not so much. So I went out and bought former Man City youngster, was at Chelsea in this, Karim Rekic, 27, good experience, couple of caps for his country, and I just felt he had a bit, good strength about him, good pace, the heading's fine, the marking's fine, the mentals are okay. I just feel it's an upgrade in what we had, and it's somebody that was going to be under a permanent contract. Bit disappointed the wages are as high as 44k, but somebody I'm hoping can kick on. He did get a £10 million move to Chelsea, big move to Southampton. Chelsea didn't play him, and it's hopefully with us that can resurrect his career and hopefully, improve and get us to the next place that we want to be. The other signing was on deadline day. I know we've got Sven Bender, but I feel he's getting on. I think he's 34. So a ballman in midfield, or even just somebody that could sit in front of the defence would have been perfect. Because my deal was we play obviously the 4-1. It's basically a 4-5-1, right? With 1 sitting, 2 central midfielders and 2 wingers. But over time, I may want to try and phase that into a back 4, 2 sitting midfielders. One can be a ball winner, one can be a deep lying playmaker, and then have an attacking mid left, an attacking mid centre, and an attacking mid right. Very similar to how Manchester United have been lining up in pre-season. So with that in mind, when I seen this guy was available, Joshua Kimmich, the former, well, I remember him actually from Red Bull Leipzig, and my save there last year. And I just feel, he's a kind of player that I've seen develop well in other saves. Maybe hasn't had a great time when he moved to Wolfsburg, but he's definitely somebody who, technically, pretty much a good all-rounder. Mentally, there's a lot of good positive said. He's a leader, he's composed, he's got good teamwork and everything. There's not really anything that's overly negative there. And even physically, maybe a little bit weak, but again, I think he's a good kind of passer, and I just think somebody maybe that can compose, can just retrieve the ball from the other ball winner, ball midfielder, defensive mid, and just play it through and start the ball up attack. So that was a no-brainer. The fact that he was available for as little as $2 million and a less than 30k contract was a massive incentive for us to bring him in. In terms of outs, 3 loans out on the deadline day. We tried so hard to get rid of a few. I tried to get rid of Coleman for big money. Tried to get McCrory out on loan. The only people we did lose was Rigoberto Rosellas out on loan to Copenhagen to get him some first team experience. Joshua Okoro, same idea. He scored goals for fun when he was at loan at Seattle. Now he's out on loan at Stuttgart in the Bundesliga, and he can only go for strength before he eventually comes back and competes for a first team berth. I think normally in a Rangers save he'd probably get a game, but when you consider the fact that the likes of Izzy Brown, Malcolm, and Gabriel Barbosa, competition is for places is pretty high. The standard is so high. And then Felix Backslack, he is decent, but I just feel he needs games, so a wee loan spell to Serie A side Cesena. We'll hopefully give him the game time since he's barely featured since he arrived from Dortmund. Let's say today is Cup Day. We are travelling, I believe we're travelling. Yep, to Aberdeen. So we've got 2 trips to Aberdeen, we've got them now, and then we've got them in the league, and a trip to Cali as well. So a lot of trips up north before that game against Man City. But it's been weird because normally we've obviously had the League Cup semis at this time, and this is the first year we've not been there. Aberdeen put us out, so hopefully we're looking to rectify this, and it's definitely a competition we want to take serious. It's a competition we want to win, and hopefully we can do that. The team's already been picked, the subs have already been selected. I'll just run through that now. As always, my main keeper, I'm so delighted he's moved to PSG. He's got a big move, but Kevin Trapp in goal. Back 4 for this one, Andy Robertson, Arsov, Valle and Vuzencroft. Rekic has a small knock, so that is why he won't be risked. Besic will sit in the deep line playmaker role. We'll have Jack as a ball winner, Kimmich just trying to spring some attacks, Sisto on the right, Ryan Gold on the left, and it's going to be Malcolm that gets the chance up front in this game. Substitutes: Gomes, Manquillo, Borges, Gabriel Barbosa, Bender, Florian Thauvin and Kingsley Coman. Not a bad bench. Also just looking at the folk that aren't in the team, the likes of even Dominic Schmeichel, I tried to get rid of him as well. Because, let's be honest, he's decent, but he's not quite Sisto. That's literally it, he's not quite Sisto. But the way he's playing, and the value that he's at, 11 million, the clubs that are interested in him, hopefully, we can sell him for 20 million, or we may need to cash in either this year or next year, just purely because he's not got long left in his contract. Will he take a new contract? He will, but it's massive money. So we'll look at that another time. But yeah, here we go. It is a trip to Aberdeen. They're going to line up with that basically Christmas tree formation, the 4-3-2-1. Obviously, the usual folk need to look out for Fraser Fivey. Could maybe be causing a couple of problems there. But just to see who else could maybe cause some problems. King looks like he's pretty decent. But why worry about them? They should be worrying about us. And we'll give Kimmich the number 25 shirt, because I do prefer my number 10s to be an actual number 10, as in an attacking midfielder central or a deep line forward. So we'll go with that. Let's see, apply advice. I think I'm quite happy with what Michael Lindemann has come out with there. And we shall say to the boys, just relax, just be nice and calm team talk. When you pick up where you left off, you've been playing very well. And every player, as always, has the potential to make or break this team, make the difference. You could be the difference between us progressing to the next round or us being pumped out. So it's going to be interesting, I think we'll probably have a rotated team over the next couple of weeks as we try and find our best 11 for this Man City game. I'm still unsure if I'm going to get into it fully attacking or if we're going to go defensive. and try and get it in the second leg. It's a real tough one to call because, you know, if you sit back, you're just inviting pressure, and sometimes quality just kind of prevails. But we'll see. It's been a decent start so far. We've restricted Aberdeen to little possession, no chances. It's been mostly us. So hope the boys can keep the high line going. Goal, that's a good run by Malcolm. Don't know what the keeper's doing there, but unfortunately Malcolm doesn't capitalise on the mistake for the keeper, and it's still 0-0. We do seem to have a kind of way where we don't seem to be scoring as many goals as I would like. Oh, it's a terrible mistake, Yaboya. Good save from Trapp. Like, I feel with the striker quality we've got, which could probably score 20-30 goals in most continental leagues, the fact we're only winning games 2-0, 3-0, especially with the creativity in the team as well, is a wee bit disappointing. But it's stuff we can work on, especially if I think from a defensive point of view I'm very happy. You know, the clean sheets record is really good. You know, when you're going like 6 out of 7 games without conceding a goal. The game we played there against Partick Thistle, we had 43 shots to 1 and they didn't muster a shot on target, which is positive knowing, you know, the high line is keeping all the pressure on the opposition in certain games. And it's just really down to when teams like that play the high balls you see there, their defenders are just alert. You know, the likes of Arsov can just cut that out there. They've been beaten for pace. And unfortunately it comes back and Fulton scores, so that's a bit of a bummer. Will not should be conceding any kind of goals. We'll get in the replay there. So fair enough, I've lost it to pace. It's a great tackle for the defender. Unfortunately, when your keepers come out like that, Fulton is an easy tap in. We find ourselves 1-0 down at half time. This is not a good first half. It's a bit of balking at half time. We'll have a look at the instructions and what can we change? What can we change? What can we change? What can we change? Get rid of work the ball in the box. We'll try that. But I want to give most of this team an opportunity. I do feel this is probably one of our better lineups. There will be a couple of guys I'd like to see, Barbosa. We'll give Malcolm a little bit. I just feel they just need that one chance, and once they get that first chance, you know, we'll stroll it. You know, here's Arsov, Kimmich. It's a good ball, Malcolm. There you go, assist in his debut. And what a finish from Malcolm. As I say, you just need to give these guys opportunities. They will take one. It may take time, but the quality is definitely there. Good ball from Arsov. Kimmich just sees that wee bit of space. And it's a nice wee turn and volley there from the Brazilian Malcolm. What we need to also try and do here is make sure this doesn't go to extra time, because extra time, sorry, replay, because fixture congestion at this time is not what we need. And thankfully, the combination again, two guys who weren't playing very well. Sisto and goal, both holding at 6.6 or 7s. Malcolm Sisto turns his man, great ball across the face of goal. Michael Devlin doesn't get there, and Ryan Gold goes, cheers mate, I'm putting that in the back of the net. We'll bring a change. It's going to be Sven Bender coming on for Ryan Jack in the ball winner position. We'll probably make another change to take off Kimmich. Maybe even giving Barbosa a spell up front. There's a few guys that are maybe suffering with a bit of fatigue. Ryan Gold will come off for Kingsley Coman, and this is where I'm struggling, so we don't really have the depth in central midfielders. I'm going to try Tauvin there. I don't think it will work, but I am going to risk it, and we shall see. It can play, of course, mid-left, mid-right, attack mid-right, left and centre, so I don't see there being a reason why I can't play there. Here's Sisto. Here is Florian Tauvin, what can he do? Brings a lovely ball in there for Kingsley Coman, and it was sub to sub, and then Malcolm's unlucky there with a finish. Let's see, Sisto, can we continue this chance, or are Aberdeen going to try and hit us on the counter-attack, a late counter-attack? And thankfully Mohamed Besic does what he's been told to do, and that is break up the play, and hopefully Sisto can just run this to the corner, and the referee will blow for full time, or we could score. Oh, unlucky there, and I'm pretty sure Sven Bender may have gotten a nosebleed as well, because that's the furthest up the park I've seen him in a long time. But regardless, that'll be full time there, and that is a good victory for Rangers. A 2-1 victory over Aberdeen. Always a difficult place to go. One of those teams that we always seem to struggle against. But thankfully we've gotten through. I'm absolutely delighted with that. Managed to take 17 shots to their 9, 9 on target to their 5. 56% possession to their 44 is always a positive as well. Just quick look at the match stats. They actually had more passes than us, which I'm very surprised at. They had 512, we had 454. We just had a far better success rate. So that's interesting because we are a very keep the ball on the deck, pass and move team. So I'm very surprised at that, but overall, very happy with the result, and that will put us into the next round of the Scottish Cup, the quarter-final. So just one game away from a spot at Hampden. You can see there Partick are through, St Mirren, Kilmarnock, Falkirk, and of course it's looking like the Celtic playing Stranraer, they will join us in the next round. I don't think there's anything overly noticeable here. Cowich makes his debut, a massive 17 grand for winning. So that is it for this episode, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. As I say, the next episode will be the home tie against Man City, where we could find out if our Champions League campaign was just going to be extended by one game, or two games, one tie, or if we actually have a chance of progressing to the last day. But if you enjoyed it, guys, please leave a like. If you get any comments on the save, what you think of my new signings, what you think of the guys going out on loan, let us know, guys. If there are any series you would like to see before FM16 comes out. Been toying with the idea of a Monaco save, like a short-term one, just to really try out the likes of Bernardo Silva, maybe even trying something like an Ajax. But if there's anything you'd like to see short-term before FM16, don't be afraid to suggest in the comments section. I'll have a look and I'll see if I can get it done, because I feel there's definitely room for maybe one or two short-term saves in series before we get to FM16. But apart from that, guys, cheers for watching. If you haven't already, hit that sub button, and it'll drop these boxes into your sub box every time they go live. And until next time, this is 21 Maxwell. I'll see you for that Champions League game against Man City next time. Bye bye.